One of the things that I've recently started doing that I didn't really do before since moving to Japan was visit the local hot springs or onsens. Being honest, coming from Hawaii where modesty is pretty pronounced in a lot of the Asian families there, going into a public bath was not something that I was regularly comfortable with or familiar with. But when my brother was climbing Mount Fuji with our friends, the hotel we were staying at had a really nice onsen and it was included in the stay. Then part of me thought that it would be a missed opportunity to not soak in a hot spring at the base of Mount Fuji. So, needless to say, I tried it out for the first time and honestly, it was really great. While it was uncomfortable in the beginning because you are in a room full of naked people, it ended up being completely fine. This practice of like onsens or like the sentos is deeply rooted in the Japanese culture, so there's really no shame in it for a lot of the Japanese people. I did a little research into it and it has something to do with like social harmony, equality, and all of that stuff. That's why the onsens and the public baths were kind of established and created, which makes a lot of sense because when everybody's naked, they're pretty much the same. So for those of you wondering how a onsen works, basically what it is you do have to take your shoes off and there's a cubby area normally in the front where you would leave your shoes. Then normally after that there's like a ticket machine where you'd buy your ticket. If you're above 16, I believe you have to pay for the adult ticket. And if you're below, you get to pay for the cheaper price. You'll hand your ticket over to the receptionist there and then they'll let you into the onsen. There are also options on the ticket machine to buy towels. If not, you do have to bring your own. Unless you are at a hotel, then sometimes the towels are provided for you. And then also, depending on the situation, certain onsens, when you give them their ticket, they'll give you a locker key. If not, some of the other onsens, you just have to pick a locker when you get in there. And that's where you'll keep your like clothes and all that other stuff. After you derobe, you go into the onsen area where the baths are, and then you have to shower. That's one of the most important aspects of onsen culture. You'll see a bunch of stools and like little bowls and stuff with shampoo and stuff. Most onsens will have shampoo and body wash, but if you have a particular one, then you have to bring your own. It's incredibly important that you take this step and you completely wash your hair, your whole body, rinse off completely thoroughly so there's no soap on you, and then you can enter the main bath area where all the hot springs are. The two major onsens that are in our town are pretty cool because they have different levels of heat in each bath, and then they also have ice baths or really cold baths, which I really like. And the two ones that I do go to now because they're a little bit fancier have an outdoor bath, which is one of my favorites because it is cold right now. The contrast between the cold air and the hot spring is something that is really hard to explain. But you get really relaxed with the hot water, and then when you exit it, you get like a refreshing sense because of the cool air. So it's like you get both of best worlds. While you're using the facilities, if you have to go like to the bathroom, there is generally a bathroom in the locker room area, but before you go into that locker area again, you have to like towel off a little so that you're not dragging water into that changing area. And then if you enter back into the bath, you have to shower off again just to make sure that you're clean because cleanliness is really important in an onsen. And then lastly, when you are finished, you do towel off again and then you go back into the locker room area to do your changing. Like I said, honestly, in the beginning, it's a little uncomfortable, but at the end of it, I think you're going to end up loving it. Because it's a deeply traditional and culturally rooted practice, there are a lot of like caveats. Like if you have tattoos, most onsens and sentos, they probably won't accept you. Unless you're in like a hotel or a highly populated tourist area, then there's a likelihood that they might accept it. But right now, a lot of the traditional places, they don't accept tattoos. So before you get really upset about that aspect, just probably keep in mind that it's probably not going to be okay if you have a tattoo to enter it. It's one of the reasons my sister and my brother can't partake in it because they do have tattoos. So if they want to participate in an onsen, we have to get like a private one. And while it may not be necessarily fair, it's just what it is. You know, this is Japan, and again, they have their own cultures and practices, so it's really important to honor and respect their wishes. But honestly, from what I've seen, the private onsens are way nicer, so maybe that is honestly a better option. In the end, I do think that everybody should try the onsen if at all possible because it is something different and new. And honestly, you might feel super refreshing at the end of a stressful walking day. Okay, bye!